Alright you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be dedicated to working on the back of the head. That can seem like a strange idea, I know, but a lot of the times here at JZ we tend to work with assistants. So today my role is to be the assistant. I'm assisting Jesse, and I'm going to be giving you not only tips for rooting and toning and foil placement for the back of the head, but how I can be a better assistant, or if you're an assistant, what you can do to make your stylist life easier. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, I'm starting in the back of the head. Usually when we work with assistants, the assistant foils the back and the stylist foils the front. So today I'm going to be tackling the back, and what I'm going to be doing is something a little bit unique. Since her hair is shorter, it's going to be a little bit harder to foil up under here towards the nape of her head. So what I'm going to be doing is a Bricklay pattern. So as you saw, my first foil was straight off the nape. This one's going to be angled a little bit to the right, and then the third foil is going to be angled a little bit to the left. Basically what we're doing here is creating a Bricklay pattern, nothing too fancy with our sectionings or anything like this, but this is going to be a great way to break up all the dark and depth within the interior of her hair, but also keeping it super nice and bright and blonde. So I'm going to keep utilizing this Bricklay pattern like I was just explaining to you guys, and that's going to bring us into our first tip whenever it comes to assisting, and it is going to be quality over quantity. Whenever it comes to assisting, it can feel almost a little bit defeating in a way whenever the stylist is way faster than you, but as you are trying to keep up with the stylist, you want to make sure that your work speaks for itself, and that every highlight, every time you apply color, anything that you are doing, that you are hitting the ball out of the park and doing your best job. This way you really get to retain what you're learning. You're really going to be soaking up everything that this experienced stylist is being able to teach you, and the client's also going to be leaving with the best end result. So now that we have worked our way up to the top of the head, our sectioning is going to change a little bit. I'm going to carve out an upside down triangle. What this is going to do is keep everything uniform, neat, give me a guide to where I'm going. And this upside down triangle is going to act as a veil, which is going to be laying across the back of the head. So I want to make sure that it is super nice and bright, but I am left with these two quadrants to the left and to the right. So I'm just going to go ahead, move straight up those on a slight diagonal, packing in more baby lights just to keep those super nice and bright, and kind of breaking free from that Bricklay pattern to something that's a little bit more uniform and traditional. And while I'm tackling this section of the back of the head, I want you to go ahead and get ready for tip number 2, and that is going to be a self-starter. Whenever it comes to assisting, if you don't have a task or something that the stylist is telling you to do, think of anything. Think a step ahead. What can I prepare for the next client or the next step of this? For example, if I was the stylist here in this scenario and I was just wrapping up foiling in one section, you could go ahead and get things ready for toning, get things ready for the next client that's coming in. Anything that you can prepare to help make your stylist's life easier is going to help you so much in the long run, and also help your stylist out as well. So go ahead and try to be as much of a self-starter as you can, and I promise it's going to be paying off in the long run. Something I just realized that I forgot to mention is even the formula and what we're using for today for this client. So by the way, before this all started, me as the assistant mixed up 2 bowls, one for me, one for Jesse, of 20 volume Oxycure with Olaplex, and that is going to be the formula we're using. I just jumped right into today's video. So in case you're wondering, that's what we're using, my go-to holy grail. Something else that I have advice on is if you are looking to assist someone, make sure the stylist that you're applying to be their assistant is specializing in what you want to specialize in. For example, for me, whenever I first started assisting, the first job opportunity that I had, and that ended up with me doing men's cuts all day and fashion colors, and that's not something that I wanted to specialize in. Something that I really enjoyed doing as a new stylist and still do to this day is blondes and lived-in colors and extensions, and I wasn't really getting a lot of education on that. So just to make sure that you're benefiting from the most whenever it comes to assisting is find a stylist to assist for that specializes in what you want to specialize in. That way you're getting paid to learn techniques that you're going to be using and utilizing once you're on the salon floor full time. And now that we have finally made our way to this upside down triangle, I'm just going to be going up straight horizontally, packing in those baby lights like I told you I would, and then we're going to be teasing out a few of her ends after this, so just stay tuned for that. Another tip that I have for you if you are currently assisting or about to start assisting is soak it up. This is going to be the one time in your life that you get paid to learn and get all this free education. Make sure you're using the other tips and tricks that I gave you just so you can succeed and thrive as an assistant, but this is going to be one of the most fun periods of your career. I tell Jesse all the time that I miss assisting and I wish I could go back to just being an assistant because taking your own clients, as amazing as it is, it can be a little bit stressful, so just soak it up and really enjoy taking the knowledge that you're getting and just honestly freaking have a good time. And speaking of assistants, here is Piper. She's going to be going in and teasing out the ends. Now, what she's doing is back combing the hair a little bit just to diffuse the line, and she's going to be applying lightener from the mids to ends and then just feathering up from the mids. This is just going to help pop open those ends. You can see Jesse's doing it here as well. Something that's also great about having an assistant is that it can double your income. You can take 2 to 3 as many clients as you normally would. I know me now, I'm working with 2 assistants and it has just changed the game. Whenever I first started doing hair by myself, I worked 6 days a week and now I'm just working 2 really long days and still making the same income. So now we can move on to rooting and toning after letting her process. And speaking of tag teaming and assisting, this is going to be another way that just speeds up your service to get your client in and out easier. So the girls have shampooed her, put Olaplex number 2 on her mids to ends and brushed her out. And what we're going to be multitasking. So while they were doing that, I was mixing up the root and toner. So for the root, we have Goldwell Colorant 7 and 7 and 8. And we're all going to be applying that just for a little bit of a shadowed root effect. The reason that I love shadow roots is because they pair the best with baby lights and it's just going to soften that foil line so everything grows out super soft and blended and there aren't any harsh lines. The way that we are doing it is we're just going through making sure that we're really evenly distributing the product just like we were doing a root retouch, and then we're going to be taking a blending comb or a metal bristle comb and just brushing it to kind of distribute that product down just ever so slightly just so we have the perfect blend. And you guys, we are really whipping out this client. 3 people working on 1 person can seem a little extreme, but this is Rachel. She's one of our good friends and also works here at Jay-Z, so it wasn't too much for her to handle because she does have 2 sweet little babies that she needed to get back to. But as far as her toner goes, what we did is Redken Shades EQ 10P, 9V, and 9GI. And I know it sounds a little bit crazy. One, if you want a nice bright, a little bit of ashy blonde, one would you go ahead and throw in a 9GI, but as Jessie described in her video, it just helps the other toners reflect and almost makes the blonde seem a little bit brighter than it actually is. So now all there is to do is chop and style, and you guys can see the finished result of today's video. I hope these tips helped you, whether it was little tips of foiling or tips that I had whenever it came to assisting. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube and like this video. It does mean a lot whenever you guys subscribe and like and show your love and support so I can bring more videos to you guys. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you guys enjoy the after as much as we did. And I will catch you guys on the next one.